and here we go.
There's the W. Here's ignition.
Roger, roll, Atlantic. Doubling up.
Did you just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, that sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be normal.
We did have an observation.
Equalize.
343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
No!
Oh my God.
Yikes, you bet. We don't need any more of these.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to another NSF live stream from the Space Coast of Florida. You are currently taking a live look over at SpaceX's Falcon 9 at Launch Pad 40 over at the oh my goodness gracious, off to a great start today, folks. Over at the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, where Falcon 9 is getting ready and poised to launch the Dragon capsule and the CRS-34 mission to resupply the International Space Station in about 55 minutes time. Seeing a bunch of 5x5s in chat yell, besides my stutter, I would say we are off to a great start today. Although, of course, I am not on my own for today's live stream, I am first and foremost joined in the field by Sawyer. How's it going, Sawyer?
It's going good. I feel like the roles are reversed here. Normally I'm in the studio and you're in the field, and this time here I am in the field and you're in the studio. But it's great to be here. Weather looks a lot better than the last two times they planned to launch this mission, so hopefully that means we see a liftoff today.
You can say that again, absolutely. And also joining us from also on commentary today is Alex. How are you, Alex?
International Space Station, right?
I mean, it's always a really cool sight to see Dragon over on 40, because that's not something we see too often. And at this point, we see it a maximum of maybe 4 times a year, maybe 5, depending on what the mission manifest has in store. But today, Dragon is heading off to the International Space Station. Also providing some feeds for us today in the field is D Wise out there at the KSC press site. Thank you, D, for rolling out and giving us some cameras. And behind the scenes, pushing the buttons and pulling the levers is the one and only Kevin Michael Reed, God himself, joining us with his wonderful presence today. But I think first and foremost, Sawyer, let's go ahead and talk about the rocket, the payload, and of course the spacecraft on top of Falcon 9 today. What exactly is launching and where is it going?
Yes, so this is the CRS-34 mission, the 34th contracted resupply mission for SpaceX as part of the Commercial Resupply Services program, hence the CRS. So this is a resupply mission to the International Space Station. So this one means a northeasterly trajectory for those who are hoping to go out and see it this evening. So, as you pointed out, we do have Falcon 9 on the pad, and atop of it, instead of, a Crew Dragon, or instead of some encapsulated satellite on it, we have the Cargo Dragon vehicle, which looks very similar to the Crew Dragon, is similar in many ways to Crew Dragon, except there's no spot for crew inside of it, there's no life support systems, doesn't have the on-pad abort capabilities, so it's similar, but obviously not exactly the same. And this capsule, in fact, is one that has some history to it. This will be flying for the 6th time. So this one has a lengthy history going all the way back to CRS-22, as well as CRS-24, 27, 30, and 32. And then you see there, of course, the booster is not the shiniest. It's still cleaner compared to some. So that means that it is indeed previously flown. And in fact, this one also on its 6th flight, so a 6th flight capsule and a 6th flight booster. This one having previously flown Kuiper Falcon 1 back before it was called Leo, so the first Kuiper launch aboard Falcon 9, IMAP, NRL 77, GPS 3, Mission 9, and then also a previous Starlink mission. Hopefully that's a good summary of everything going up and what's going up.
I would say so. And of course, we have just over 51 minutes until that scheduled T0. There is no launch window today because, of course, when Falcon is launching toward the space station, or most rockets for that matter, the launch window is instantaneous. There is not a window of time upwards of maybe a half hour to an hour, sometimes 3 or 4 hours, as we see with some missions. But with Falcon 9 in particular launching to the International Space Station from Florida, you either launch at your scheduled time or you don't launch at all that day. It's all about orbital mechanics and making sure that you are lined up correctly with the International Space Station, which of course is at 250 miles in altitude, traveling at about 17,500 miles an hour, and you have to be very, very precise in hitting your target there. Obviously, when you want to dock Dragon. Just as a reminder, folks, if you are in chat, feel free to tag us at NSF or at NASASpaceflight with any questions you may have, and we will get to them as we see them coming. And actually, right off the bat here, before we even went live, a name that we see here pretty often is Bideford. How are you, Bideford? Happy Friday night launch, everybody. Maybe we could have a countdown to launch tomorrow evening. Maybe. That is I will ask Kevin after the show whether or not we can do that. But we do have some more people coming into Starbase over the weekend. It is going to be a packed house here on the Star Coast as we get prepped for Starship's 12th flight, hopefully next week, if not on Tuesday.
Star
Also
Coast.
here,
Haven't heard it called that before.
Really? I could have swore Jack was the one to coin Star Coast like a long time ago. I swear.
I mean, he also thought West Coast, Best Coast, so take that with a grain of salt. But I do like that name.
I mean, like, it makes sense. Like, everything else here that SpaceX has is, like, we have Star Factory, we have Starlink, we have Star Shield, and then there's a whole bunch of other stuff, I'm sure, that has Star in front of it. Star Coast being here right on the... Star what?
Starbreak for the tiles.
Oh, I mean...
It is.
I've never heard that before. Is it actually?
Yes, it is. It is the official name. Well,
oh my God,
quote unquote official, but yeah. It's the name they use.
Well, actually, so before I continue with chat here, Kevin brought this up on stream, and Sawyer, I'm sorry to come back to you again, but you mentioned it in your intro about how much of a factor weather was playing into the last couple of launch attempts. How was the weather today, and I guess is it forecasted to stay good throughout our time until T0?
Yes, thank goodness. It absolutely is intended to stay well this time. Yeah, last time it was, oh my gosh, no, it's only 10%, then it was 20, then it was 90, and then it was 0. Today, it originally started off at 90%, and last I saw was 95% chance of favorable weather. The only concern that the 45th Weather Squadron had going into today was the cumulus cloud rule, but as you can kind of see from the video, and as I can see from the Mark 1 eyeballs, the only clouds that are in the air, if any, are the super thin wispy ones, so not the cumulus clouds. That could be a concern that if the rocket flew through it could create lightning and all of those issues. So weather looks a lot better today.
And thank goodness for that, because we are entering that time of year where the weather in Central Florida in the afternoons can be pretty volatile in terms of how quickly it can change just based on atmospheric instability. I mean, you guys saw it firsthand on Wednesday how quickly those storms came in and how much they sort of ruined your day and how much of a factor they tried to play or were playing in the countdown, literally up until T-minus, I think it was 20 or 30 seconds, somewhere in there, before a hold was called for launch that day.
One thing has not changed, Max, because I just saw a bunch of bugs. I think it was a wasp flying around. That has not changed.
That has not. I noticed that on the stream on Wednesday, and I didn't know if they had cleared that or not. I guess not, but I hope they do, because wasp nests are certainly... no joke and not anything to be taken lightly. They're pests. Wasps are. They're annoying. Maybe that's just me, but I digress.
If only there was super powerful heat that they could maybe use and some pressure waves maybe to knock it off or disrupt it. If only there was 9 Merlin 1D engines set to fire up or something.
I wonder genuinely how a sonic boom would affect the structural integrity of a wasp nest over there. And Sawyer, or actually, I'll come to Alex in this one. We're about to find out, I guess, because Falcon 9 today is not landing on a drone ship northeast in the Atlantic. That booster is coming back, right?
Yeah, so this booster will be coming back to land on LC-40, the landing zone right next to this launch pad. It's like 200 meters or something like that. I don't recall exactly, but it's close. It's relatively close. And so, yeah, it's gonna see a lot of sonic booms. We're probably gonna see the same booster you see there on the screen landing. Basically, it's like to the back left of this view, more or less, where the landing zone is located. And so it's interesting. It's rather fun how they are able to land boosters there, not only when they launch from Launch Complex 40, but also when they launch from the LC-39A with a Falcon Heavy. We saw this 3 weeks ago with that Falcon Heavy launch, and that was epic.
And that was the first time we saw a booster fly from pad A and have it come back to 40, because it shows that. I mean, I keep thinking that it has more work to do to come back to 40, but in reality, it has to do less cross-range work compared to LZ1 and 2, which is where the other booster went over at LZ2, because LC40 is a lot closer in proximity to 39A than LZ1 and or 2 are. So always interesting to see, but also they are currently down one drone ship on the east coast of Florida right now, and whenever they have a chance to bring the booster back home, it can save them a lot of time in refurb and getting that booster turned back around, aiming to fly again. But that being said, somebody correct me here if I'm wrong, this booster hasn't flown in about 100 days, and that is a long time for Falcon 9 booster turnaround.
Yeah, it last launched on that GPS-3 mission 9, and that one was 107 days ago. I mean, since then, SpaceX has launched the next GPS-3 satellite after that. So that's how long it's been since this launched. So yeah, I mean, sometimes they take some of these boosters and they reserve them for future customer missions. We see that a lot more often. For example, when they are going to expand one. We've seen that, sometimes a certain customer needs the full performance of the rocket, right? And so what do? You expand the rocket, but it's like, I'm not going to expand the one that it's new. I'm going to expand the one that's flown many, many times. And so you take it apart, you put it somewhere on your hangar or something like that, and reserve that one that it's very old for the customer that wants the expendable mission, right? Wants the full performance and whatnot. And so that is one of the things that sometimes happens, and it's more often now. But in this case, it's down to like the amount of times that NASA is good with reuse for Falcon 9 boosters. I believe the limit is about 7 reuses or something like that. So this is already getting to that limit. If they had kept flying this booster in those 107 days, it probably will be already like on the 8th flight or 9th flight by now, right? So it makes sense that they reserve that just in case. Speaking of, because I'm saying this, it's ironic because the Capsule today is also launching on a 6th time. It's the first time for a cargo Dragon, but not the first time for a Dragon overall. Because Endeavour, it's a Crew Dragon, it also launched 6 times. And so this is going to be the first time they've done that for a cargo version. And actually, there's a few differences that they had to go in and certify for further flights. Because up until very recently, these Dragon capsules were certified for like 5 flights, right?
Yeah.
So they needed to go through all that. So it ties back as well with the whole thing of, NASA, it's comfortable with a certain amount of flights and whatnot. It also ties back a little bit with that in terms of, the Dragon capsules as well. Because it's been a year for this one.
It has. And also, it sticking with the theme of 6s, not to sound, I guess, demonic or anything, but this is SpaceX's 666th launch overall. So it's the 6th flight of Dragon C209, the 6th flight of Booster 1096, and SpaceX's 666th launch overall so far. So pretty interesting that all of these tend to line up at once. But granted, it's a lot easier nowadays since SpaceX's Falcon 9 launch cadence is a lot less than it used to be. Oh, I'm being told we have some breaking news in the back channel. I'm kind of waiting for the stinger to come up and blast the screen. But I'm not sure if it's even ready or not. I'll wait for Kevin on that one. But we will come to that in a second here. But I want to hit some support really quick while I can and have a window to. We have a store message here From Adam saying, hi, I love watching the streams. Will SpaceX go for an RTLS for the booster on Flight 12 or no? Because it's a brand new pad and new version. I'm getting an albino frog, and I'm going to name it something after space, like Euclid, Orion, Cygnus, Raptor, Apollo, Voyager, Atlas, Calypso, Gemini, Viking, Aquarius, Galileo, Kepler, Osiris, Vulcan, Mercury, or Titan. That's a long list of names, dude, but all of those sound absolutely epic, and thank you so much for... You know, 100% and go Dragon. Don't forget that either. And one more $5 super chat here from Warp Space 94. Why couldn't Blue Origin buy Raptor 3s and replace their 7 BE4s on New Glenn with 14 Raptor 3s? It would have a lot more thrust to weight and payload capacity. Ooh, Alex, do you want to break that one down? That is 100% a you question.
Well, it seems are we back? Are we back? We're back. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole reason is because the whole thing is that Blue Origin wants their own engines, right? So buying engines out from another vendor, it's sort of the sort of thing that you see other certain companies do, like ULA, for example, right? They were buying engines from Rocketdyne, now L3 Harris. And they also have bought the Blue Origin B for the Vulcan rocket. But if you are Blue Origin, you're like, I'm not gonna buy this other rocket engine just because it may be X, Y, and Z better, right? I just want to actually own and develop my own engine for my own things, because we are already seeing them being, thinking about the future of New Glenn and thinking about upgrades to the engine and things like that. Perhaps in the future they have a path as well to make a similarly efficient engine. We really don't know, right? These are the things. But one of the things that we do know is that there's a lot of value in owning a design, on owning something by yourself. Otherwise, you're at the whims of a vendor and things like that. That's why SpaceX also makes their own engines, right? They're not asking... Yep. They didn't ask Rocketdyne to make like a Merlin substitute or things like that when Falcon was being developed. They developed that thing by themselves. And Falcon 9 and Dragon and all that stuff. You often do that sort of thing for components that make sense. Sometimes there are certain valves or certain assemblies or something like that where a vendor makes sense because they already make those for other companies and things like that. And that's when you actually do that. But for an engine, which is arguably one of the most complicated things in a rocket, you kind of want to own that and have agency over your own design.
And it's I wouldn't say it saves the company headache, because certainly building stuff in-house comes with its own series of headaches. But you're saving yourself a lot of trouble in the long term if you're able to make a lot of your own stuff and not having to wait on other people. But yes, the breaking news that we were just talking about before we went over some questions there a bit ago. It appears Starship has its launch license for Starship Flight 12.
Well, at least a new one.
Well, a new one, yes.
Exactly.
So Alex, would you mind breaking down exactly what we are looking at here in terms of Flight 12?
Well, not much changed. It's all the way down, Kevin, if you want to keep scrolling, because all of those are old changes that they did to the license. Yeah, it's all the way down at the end. There we go. There it is. So you can see there the date for the latest change, revision 6, basically 6.0, and it's dated May 15th, 2026. And so obviously they have changed from Rev 5.4 to 6, and now it's got all of these 3 points. And so they have added or SpaceX Boca Chica Launch Complex for the Super Heavy vehicle and Indian Ocean locations for the Starship vehicle. So I'm guessing that, for example, adds catches back to. I actually have to look it closely because I was dealing with other things while this was out. But it's a minimal change there. The second paragraph removed some other conditions that they had to comply a while ago as well. And then prior to conducting return to launch site operations for the Starship vehicle. So yeah, basically this adds back the catch for boosters because when they went to flight, was it 9? I think it was. They stopped catching boosters, and so the launch license also changed accordingly. And so it's back to featuring, the return of the super heavy vehicle and all that stuff. And then at the end, it also includes lightning hazard mitigation, some stuff about complying with launch commit criteria in NASA standard 4010A for conducting operations to demonstrate compliance. So just another thing that they need to comply with. It's not really that big of a deal, I would say. But yeah,
I mean, I would say it's a big deal that Starship is now able to fly Flight 12, at least from oh my God, I can't say the word. From a legality standpoint, like Starship at that point is set. What's not set is that Ship 39 is still at Massey's and Booster 19 is still in Mega Bay 1. TBD on how those come or how that changes, because of course we have seen the road closures for this weekend pop up and beach closures. But this stream is about Falcon 9 and Dragon. So if I may, let me steer this train back toward the Space Coast for now. Sawyer, we passed a critical milestone about 2.5 minutes ago now, almost 3, with Falcon and its timeline. What exactly can we expect going forward in the coming minutes, and how time progresses?
Yeah, absolutely. So, at this point now, they should hopefully be going ahead with propellant load in just a couple seconds. That usually happens if they go for prop load a few minutes before, and if so, then they will start at the 35-minute to go mark, at which point they will start with the RP-1, the rocket propellant 1, which is the refined kerosene, in both stage 1 and stage 2. They will also start with the liquid oxygen or LOX load into stage 1. Stage 2 is going to load itself up with that RP-1 till about 20 minutes, 20 seconds. It's a little bit faster, I think, over a pad 40 compared to what it is over 39A. So around that point, we will see what we call the best vent as they start the chill down of those lines to get ready to then start loading the super cooled liquid oxygen or super chilled liquid oxygen into stage 2. That happens about T-minus 16 minutes. And then if you know Falcon 9, you'll notice most of it remains the same, with the exception of the fact that Dragon switches to internal power at the T-minus 5-minute mark, and the strong back retract is just a little bit later than we're used to seeing for Starlinks. So other than that, it's your usual Falcon 9 countdown the rest of the way.
But it's not our normal Falcon 9 launch, as you like to say, Sawyer, not our ordinary Starlink, right? Because obviously this isn't even close to being a Starlink. In fact, it's a Dragon heading to the International Space Station. So would you mind telling us a little bit more about what exactly is on board?
Sure, there's a lot of cool science on board this one. So let's see, where do we even start with this? One of the really cool experiments I found is called the green bone experiment. So basically, they're going to try this kind of bone cells that they're going to put on this sort of scaffold made from like rattan wood, but it's a bio scaffold, and they'll be able to see how the bone degrades, which is a way to then help with osteoporosis and other bone diseases that people deal with here on Earth, because astronauts deal with bone degradation while they're up in space, and obviously that's something a lot of humans deal with down here on Earth because of certain diseases. They're also going to be studying charged particles in different parts of Earth's atmosphere, things that might be able to interact with other satellites and GPS and satellite radio, so anyone that uses satellites for anything at home, it's a good way to make sure that you maintain your connection there. They're also going to be studying red blood cells and how they behave in different ways. So you've got that mission. There's one that is going to be looking at how well microgravity simulators work on Earth. So they've got a control in the ground and then one in space, and they're going to test the microgravity effects on these microbes and this bacteria, and then see how they compare, and if the ones they have on Earth are actually good enough to compare with ones in space. And we also talk about international science. I mean, there is science from every continent going up to space. And yes, that includes Antarctica. They are actually testing some bacteria that they found in Antarctica as well as the Atacama Desert in Chile. So basically areas where you have these harsh, crazy conditions, yet somehow life finds a way to survive. And they're going to see how they survive in space too, and see if they can learn what makes them so strong and if there's any benefit that either will help us or that might be signs of finding chances of life in other locations. And then, of course, you've got all of the other normal items happening on board this. So you've got all of the different replacement parts for hardware. You've got new computer components, crew supplies, so personal items, food, water, all those cool things. Spacewalking equipment, there's a bunch of replacement parts for the wastewater management system. If you remember Artemis 2, that's basically part of the space toilet that they have on the space station. And then, so that's 4,700 pounds or 2,100 kilos of pressurized stuff coming up. And then in the unpressurized part in the trunk, it's about 1,800 pounds or 860 kilos on their way up to space.
So it sounds like Dragon has a pretty full load of cargo today, Sawyer.
Absolutely. And then don't forget, when it comes back down in a little over a month, it also will bring science back down with it. So there's a lot of human biology experiments and other things that have been running for a while in space that people want to see how they did. Those will come back to Earth when this returns in about a month.
And that's one of the more unique things that Dragon can offer over other or most other cargo spacecraft is the ability to not only bring stuff up but bring stuff down, because of course Dragon is reusable, and obviously in the case of Dragon C209, which is what you are seeing on your screen now, this is this Dragon's 6th flight. It's incredibly valuable being able to bring up experiments not only up but down on more than one vehicle, because of course there is also the Soyuz capsule that can come back, but obviously it is much smaller and has a lot less space to carry stuff compared to Dragon. And of course Cygnus itself is essentially a flying trash can once it gets there, and they load it up with a bunch of garbage or just stuff that is disposed of on station and then is burned up in the atmosphere and not to be used obviously again or seen again, really, because at that point it will burn up and be disposed of in Earth's atmosphere. But progressing in the countdown now, prop load should be underway with Falcon 9. Actually, there is frost on the bottom of the first stage LOX tank there. If we can get a view of that. No, I think, yeah, no, that is for sure frost. It's kind of hard to see in this light with it being in the shadow. But with that frost, we have a visual indication that prop load is certainly underway for Falcon 9 this afternoon to get her off the ground in about 29 minutes and 30-ish seconds time from now to get to the International Space Station. So lots of exciting stuff coming up ahead, not just with Falcon, but hopefully Starship as well in the coming days. So watch this space. Pun not intended there, I promise. Let me hit some questions here while I can. Okay, Alex, I'm 100% coming to you on this one. Rollsy Boy, I think that's how you say it. At NSF, how many more cargo flights are SpaceX contracted for?
Well, I believe they have at least 3 more. So 35 and 36 and 37 as well. But they are about to expand that. So part of the whole process of appropriations at the very least for this year should include money for being able to expand CRS missions beyond that. Because obviously those will cover basically until just next year. And, the ISS is still continuing until 2030, right? And so they need the extra few missions, probably going to extend, I don't know, CRS-42 or something like that, if I were to guess. More or less 2 of these cargo missions a year, probably going to need up until that, probably.
I mean, as long as the space station is still flying, they're going to need vehicles to go up and resupply and make sure that the astronauts are still fed, right? Obviously, with the station now presumably being retired a little bit after 2030, like maybe 2031 thereabouts, they're going to need a few more years of resupply for that, on top of hopefully Boeing Starliner getting up and becoming operational. We'll see how that progresses. But its next flight is not apparently in the best of situations, with that being pushed off to later in the year. It was supposed to fly in June from reports. Now we hear it's being moved off or later in the year. Not exactly sure when. But we still wish Boeing the best, and we hope to see them get back to the launch pad as soon as possible. But on top of Dragon, they have Soyuz, they have Progress. Is there maybe my brain is just not on point today because Starbase has fried it. Beyond Starliner and Dragon, are there any non-Russian vehicles that are currently in development to head up to station, guys? I can't remember.
I mean, besides Cygnus, once we get the new Antares from Virginia, but
yep.
Well,
obviously, Go ahead, Alex. Go.
You meant non-Russian, right?
Yes.
So that could very, worth emphasizing there. The could that it could be one of the cargo spacecraft that ESA is trying to get from different commercial companies here in Europe. There are a few contenders for that. There's the Exploration Company. There might be a few others as well in the loop there, but we'll see if they actually get it in time for the life of the International Space Station. If it does get extended to 2032, maybe they get bigger chance, right? But yeah, it's not like there's a lot of time for them.
Yeah, I mean, Dream Chaser in theory is still on the table, but a recent announcement, or I shouldn't say recent. I mean, it's somewhat recent. Dream Chaser is not going to be flying near the space station like it was supposed to for its first flight. But that we've already beaten that dead horse many times over in previous Flame Trench episodes. But doesn't seem like Dream Chaser is going to the space station anytime soon, unfortunately. Yeah, I wish it was, because I will go on an entire rant about Dream Chaser if I have the time, but we don't have the time because we have just over 25 minutes until T0, and I want to keep the show rolling. Oh, we got 5 gifted Red Team memberships here. Mike Seeley, dude. Mike Seeley is just a gem of a human being. Love seeing you around, Mike. Thank you so much for those 5 gifted. So if anybody got a membership in chat, you can feel free to thank Michael Seeley for those gifted. So Mike, you're a legend. Thank you very much. Love seeing you around, dude.
Mike is very good people. Yes, good to see you.
I wonder, is he on site today, Slayer? Do you see him around?
I don't know. Again, I've kind of isolated myself over here hanging by the VAB to get that VAB squeal experience. I do see D, and their camera's set up, so I'll wave to them. I don't know if they see me, but I see D.
That's fair. Well, at least the weather looks a lot better today, so there's certainly a lot more to enjoy being on the Space Coast today as opposed to a couple of days ago where the weather was... that was among the strangest hour-long countdowns I've ever seen, because at the opening of the window, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, I think it opened up at 10% favorable, and then it was 20% favorable, and then it was 55% favorable, and then it was 90% favorable, and then scrubbed at like T-minus, what was it, 20-something seconds? Is that how it went?
27, I think it was, or 23. Yep.
Like, that was the biggest improvement of a forecast within an hour and still not launching. Like,
although it's worth noting, the official forecasts were originally, I think it was 40% or 60%, then 10%, then 50%. We had heard word from people who were on the ground. Our field team was hearing word of the other numbers. But in terms of what SpaceX officially posted on X, that was how it went. But yeah, that was wild. And again, if you looked at the view on that day, it looked like there was a gap of clouds right over the pad. The problem is the proximity of clouds that could cause lightning within the area. So it's a shame. But hopefully, with the cloud situation we have today, that means much better views for everyone watching.
Yep, there certainly looks to be a shortage of clouds that could produce lightning in the vicinity of the launch complex today, which I'm sure we are all very grateful to see, especially you and D being out in the field. So very nice change of pace there. It is a sight for sore eyes, especially at this time of year where the weather begins to turn to crap every day in the afternoon.
Getting a summer.
So, yeah, ain't that right? Ain't that right? Like we are getting into the rainy season in Central Florida, folks, where we get the daily storms every day, between 3 to 6 p.m. Well, most every day between 3 and 6 p.m. A storm will just randomly pop up because of the thermals in Central Florida, where they will quite literally pop up out of nowhere and just absolutely downpour inches of rain and then be gone in an hour and a half. Like, it's kind of funny. It's funny, but it's not. It's very annoying to deal with, but that's just how the weather patterns are in Central Florida, unfortunately. Space Enthusiast here is asking, what food is going up for the ISS crew on this launch? Sawyer or Alex, I don't know if we have any specific look into what meals are loaded onto Dragon for the crew before launch, but the food is certainly a lot better than what it used to be in the old days.
Yeah, I haven't seen specifically. Normally they get some kind of fresh fruits and vegetables up there, sometimes some ice cream as well. Basically all the things that don't need to stay freeze-dried. Of course, they are setting up additional food there as well as part of their meals that they will store aboard the ISS, because they always have a food storage in case something happens with a resupply vehicle and they can't get it. They want to have a stockpile. In addition to that, all of the astronauts, before they fly on their missions to space, go to the space food testing lab that they have at the Johnson Space Center, and they get to try all the different courses. And while doing so, they get to pick their favorite meals. So, of course, there's generic meals and things. There's ways to make sandwiches, although it has to be on a tortilla, so low crumb count. There's basic things like that, but apparently shrimp/prawn cocktail is one of the favorites, because
I was just going to say that, yeah.
Yeah, your whole senses get stuffed up because of the way gravity doesn't push everything down. So spicy tastes good in space.
Yeah, I've seen that. I think it was Scott Kelly's Year in Space documentary with Time, where he talks about the fluid shift. Obviously, in microgravity, all of the fluid shift, or I shouldn't say all of it, most of it shifts to your head, and so your entire time up there, especially if you're up there for a prolonged period of time, like crews are normally now between 6 to 8 months in duration on average, sometimes longer. It feels like you have a head cold the whole time, and obviously with your nose being kind of clogged up, your sense of taste is sort of muted, right? And so obviously what helps that a little bit is the spice, and that's why I guess spicy food tastes a lot better in space, because you can actually taste it. But yeah, it's very, very interesting and unique the way that astronauts deal with their lack of or changing senses in a microgravity environment. And spicy food is certainly one of the more interesting ones, but I want to find out for myself one day how big of a difference that makes. I want to find out one day, and I hope I will.
Well, one thing that looks spicy but isn't, of course, is the T-minus 20-minute, 20-second vent, which happened right on time, as you can see on your screen. And that, of course, means that they've finished loading up the RP-1 onto Stage 2. So now they are chilling down the lines, getting them ready for the super chilled liquid oxygen that is about to flow through it. Obviously, you don't want to put super chilled stuff through warmish lines right away. You want to get it prepared for it. And so that is what they are doing now. So hopefully at about T-minus 16 minutes, that will disappear. And that means LOX load will begin on Stage 2, with RP-1 and LOX load continuing on Stage 1.
Things are progressing and trending in the right direction today, but it looks like that cloud is not hanging around too much. Sawyer, is it humid out there at all, or is it just like a normal-ish late afternoon day in Florida?
No, it's normal-ish Florida heat. It's not really humid heat. There's a little bit of a breeze, so you might hear it occasionally through my headset, because I'm also right near the water here, but it's light breeze. It's not anything like we've seen in the past, so everything beautiful here.
You can say that again, because like normally a good sign of how the weather is in terms of either winds or humidity is how long that vapor cloud coming out of the TE during this vent sticks around. If the wind is blowing, obviously it'll blow sort of like it is now, like almost kind of straight out. And obviously it isn't very humid because the cloud is not sticking around for very long, whereas we've seen the cloud stick around for a lot longer with low winds, where it falls to the ground and kind of pools around the launch pad. That's how you know it's really humid, is when that vapor isn't able to exactly evaporate as quickly as it may, obviously in the view that we are currently seeing here. But obviously, as you can see on your screen again, like weather is looking a-okay today in Florida, and we are very thankful for it, especially compared to how the forecast was just a couple of days ago. All right, I'm gonna hit some more questions here. Ooh, okay, I'm gonna take this, or I'm gonna put this for whoever wants to take it. Lego Rocket is asking, when Starship starts launching from the Kennedy Space Center, will the sonic booms be heard in Florida? Actually, that's probably a Sawyer question.
I
The more I
mean,
think about it.
for when it comes back to be caught in the catch towers,
Yeah.
I would say the odds are definite and extremely definite, with definite leaving the building. Depending on where you are in Florida, of course, it will change. But Max, you can attest to the sonic booms that you hear down in Starbase. They are much louder and much more pronounced even than what we'll hear today for the RTLS for Falcon 9. And those can sometimes be heard when conditions pending all the way over in Orlando, as far south as Indian River County, Fort Pierce, that area, and as far north, close to Daytona. So, yeah, I think it's a safe bet that it will be heard in Florida.
Yeah, I think so. We have yet to see Starship fly from Florida. As you can see, the 7 crew members currently aboard the International Space Station, and their lovely smiling faces. We have yet to really see. Obviously, well, we 100% have yet to see Starship fly from Florida. And I have not been inland enough, like around Orlando during a launch or an RTLS, to hear or not hear the sonic booms when the booster comes back. But the sonic booms for Starship are no freaking joke, and those will hit a lot harder compared to what Falcon does now, which is already kind of intense for what it is. Lens cap. Oh dear. Oh well. I was fiddling with that. My bad. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that they're going to be a lot more intense, but obviously how far away in terms of how north, how inland, or how south you are is all going to be determined by the atmospheric conditions and what the wind is doing. So, but obviously, there is one way to find out, and hopefully we'll find out by the end of the year. But Sawyer, where are we currently in the countdown? It looks like stage 1 LOX load stage 2 LOX load is underway now, with that vent disappearing about a minute ago. What can we expect coming up in the next few minutes?
Yeah, you may have also heard a little bit of the countdown net there mentioning that. But at this point, as we take a look at Dragon there as well, the next thing that we'll expect to see will be, well, we won't necessarily see it, but they will chill down those 9 Merlin 1D engines at the base of Falcon 9. Again, just like we talked about thermally conditioning that line for the LOX load, it's the same thing that they do for the engines themselves. Dragon itself will then turn to internal power, as you saw in that graphic there, at the 5-minute mark. And then following that, again, we get the typical LOX load completions in stage 1, stage 2, and then we'll have the strongback retract in there. And at 1 minute, Falcon 9 will enter startup. That's also when the tank's pressurized flight levels. And hopefully, unlike last time at T-minus 45 seconds, we hear the go for launch.
And hopefully we don't hear that dreaded trio of words around or under a minute, hopefully. Because that would mean bad news, but everything looks to be trending in the right direction so far. So fingers crossed it stays like that. Let me hit some more. Actually, we had some support coming in real quick. I'm going to hit that while I can. From AI Fantasy Art, love you all. Keep up the amazing coverage. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We are certainly trying our best as wasps continue to fly in front of the camera. Is it just this camera, or is it the other one too?
Both.
It's both. Okay, that's annoying. Bugs. Am I right? And
they
also,
bug me too.
Wow. We had to get one in. We had to get one in at some point, right, Sawyer? Just had to.
It's a Friday. We have to, of course.
We just had to. And a 5-pound super here from Chris Barnett asking, when can I see Dragon fly over the UK? Alex, I'm not the most familiar with the trajectory that Dragon will take in terms like once it's like far beyond the US East Coast. Given the time of day of launch this time, is it somewhat reasonable for somebody in the UK to see Dragon tonight, or is that too far after sunset for their time?
It will probably be too far after sunset. Let me take a look, but yeah, it should be around 20 to 30 minutes after the launch when Dragon should be flying overhead. Yeah, I mean, there's a really low chance, but still a chance that because we're close to the summer solstice and because of the 51.6 degree inclination and everything, like the angle might be good enough that it might still be hitting, might still be in sunlight, but we'll see.
I mean, that is really far north, so I wouldn't. Yeah, my gut tells me, in my limited knowledge, that it wouldn't rule it out completely. But go ahead.
Yeah, the advantage of being north is that in the summer solstice, right, you get much more illumination, and so
Yep.
it's much easier for something going that far up north that it might get illuminated, but we'll see. We'll see. I will try though. Never hurts. But it should be about 20 to 30 minutes.
I mean, depending on what the weather is doing in your area, Chris, feel free to head outside, look up about 25 to 30-ish minutes after launch, depending on when. I would double check those numbers. I'm not the most familiar with them.
Usually the coverage has already ended by then, so you're not going to miss anything from us or from SpaceX or anybody, right? You're going to miss. You're not going to miss that sort of thing. Just look in the right direction, I guess. Depending on where you are, it should be something like west, southwest, or northwest, depending on if you're being more south in the UK or more north in the UK, because it sort of flies right over. But yeah.
Okay, this is okay, Alex. I'm tossing this one to you as well from Rankley. Can the cargo version of Dragon ever be used to bring crew back if there was ever an emergency?
Huh. That's funny because on one of the latest appropriations, we saw another attempt to fund a sort of study of how to bring crew on a cargo vehicle that can land on a runway, which obviously is Dream Chaser. That was very much pointed to that way, I guess. But in theory, if they are very comfortable, like it's just the part about the loads during entry, right? There's not a seat where you can just sort of stay laying down and have all of the loads through re-entry and everything being nice and steady. And even after that, during Crew Dragon missions, when it returns after the entry, they reposition the seats as well, right? And so even that changes as well when you are about to splash down. And so yes, but you will probably feel more like clothes in a washing machine sort of thing, right? All tumbling around.
Was that D waving at the camera there? I think it was. I think that's D and somebody else in the bottom right corner waving there. Hey, what's up, guys? Good seeing you. But also, Cargo Dragon and Crew Dragon are so different, and obviously, I think one of the biggest differences is that Cargo Dragon lacks the sort of Equalus power that Crew Dragon has, on top of the fact that it doesn't have the big Super Dracos, which would only be used, as far as we are aware, in an emergency during launch. There might be a scenario in there somewhere where if there is a double parachute failure, they could fire the Super Dracos like super last minute and try for a somewhat soft splashdown. I don't know. That might be somewhere deep in Dragon's programming. But Cargo Dragon is set up way differently than Crew Dragon. So I don't know. But honestly, I'll be completely honest here. I hope to not find out. I hope we never have to find that out. Dragon has proven to be reliable enough. So I think the best thing to keep hoping for there is that we don't find out whatsoever. And also from Rankley, you're gifting 5 Red Team memberships. Thank you very much, Rankley. It's good to see you again. But also on your screen, those wonderful sun. I always get a kick out of seeing those that sun shirt banner come up because I have a ton of those. As we come up on Starship Flight 12 here, folks, on top of the CRS-34 mission here today, our team is spread out all far and over, trying to give you the best coverage possible of all upcoming events, and we are putting a lot of time and effort into our Starship Flight 12 coverage. And of course, that means the release of our Flight 12 patch design, also in the form of pins and t-shirts and all sorts of other stuff in our shop. Our store team has been absolutely killing it lately, and they are not slowing down whatsoever. And obviously, I have to give a very selfish plug here for these sun shirts, because these are my favorite. My absolute favorite items on the store. I have a lot of them. I wear them almost every single day, and this one might be my favorite, just based on some photos online. I don't know, but our store team has been absolutely killing it and picking up either a print or a sun shirt or a patch. Anything to do with Flight 12 and beyond is what helps keep the coverage going, either here on the Space Coast or in Starbase, or anywhere else in the world that duty calls. So thank you very much, everybody, for your support, and let's continue on with our coverage as we are just about 7.5 minutes away now from the targeted T0. Sawyer, we are coming up on T-minus 7 minutes now. What can we expect from now until T0 in the countdown?
Yeah, now is where things start to get really exciting. So coming up in about 10 seconds from now is when they will start chilling down those 9 Merlin 1D engines, conditioning them for what they are about to experience. Of course, you've got these super chilled propellants that are about to combine together. There you go, the propellant and the oxidizer, and you get flames coming out the back, so you want to get those engines and all the plumbing and everything ready for what it's about to experience, and you heard the call out that they are indeed doing that. Once that happens, in a couple of minutes, we will hear, hopefully, the call that Dragon has gone to its internal power. And then, if all goes well, we will start to see that strong back retract shortly after the 1.8 degree lean back with all those connections going up to both the rocket and the capsule itself. Then we should hear the call outs for wrapping up of all the different propellant loads on Falcon 9, including the LOX and RP1.
Is complete.
And speaking of, there's one of those callouts. Then if all goes well, at T-minus 1 minute, Falcon 9 will enter startup. The onboard computer's taking control. Go for launch, hopefully at T-minus 45 seconds. About 7 seconds before the Rainbirds activate the deluge system. 3 seconds before is when the T-Tab starts igniting those engines. And hopefully at 0, we see Falcon 9 and Dragon take to the skies. And hopefully the booster return about 8.5 minutes after that.
Very good. Sawyer, do I need to send you off yet?
I'm good for a little longer.
Cool. Excellent. Well, I have to say, honestly, just from that one angle that we had from, I think it was one of the lightning towers there, one of the cameras available on SpaceX's feed, or even this one too. Just Dragon looks so good. I don't know. Maybe oh goodness, I can't get over how good Dragon 2 looks, especially compared to Dragon 1, but also seeing Dragon over at Pad 40 is still something I'm trying to get used to, because Dragon 2, up until I think it was Crew 9, was limited to only being able to launch from from Launch Complex 39A. And until this recent crew access tower here on the right-hand side of your screen was done, they weren't able to support a Dragon 2 mission from Pad 40, which obviously has long since been completed.
Pressing for the start of strong back retract.
Wonderful call-outs there as we get into the latter half of the countdown here, and the strong back about to retract. There are 2 clamps actually right there in between the black solar panels of Dragon and the American flag on the American 250 logo there. You will begin to see those open up, and right after those open up, the transporter will come back.
And is on internal power.
Very good call out there, Dragon being on internal power. Wonderful call-outs. Yeah, here we go. So we should see, well, of course, they cut to a wider feed there. We can't see the claws open up as well. Darn it. But those claws should open up, and then we should see the strong back retract at about 2.5 degrees, somewhere in there to start. Obviously, once the engines ignite and Falcon 9 has first motion, the strong back retract, the strong back will retract all the way to, I believe, at about its 10-degree angle to get way the heck out of the way of those 9 Merlin 1D engines
45.
at liftoff. Sorry?
45 degrees away.
Is it 45 degrees? Oh, goodness. Okay.
Yeah.
That was a long ways off there. Goodness gracious. Thanks, Alex. But, dude, Dragon looks so good. I don't know what it is. It's just it's being over at Pad 40 as well. I sound like a broken record. I've said this already, but I just can't get over Dragon 2 at Pad 40. I'm still getting used to it. So, Alex, really quickly here, while we still have a moment before we get into the really, really intense part of the countdown here, where is Falcon 9 heading off today, and what direction is it launching in?
Yeah, so obviously it's going to try and catch up to the International Space Station. For that, it needs to launch to the northeast, and so we're going to see that that first stage separating about 2.5 minutes into flight, and then it'll come back to land here at LC-40 right next to the launch site. And so we're going to have the sonic booms and everything, right?
Stage 1
it's going to be super cool.
Is complete.
Nice.
There we go. Stage 1 now. LOX load is complete. And of course, the second stage will continue. It's going to burn for about 6 minutes or so and deploy that Dragon into that 51.6 degree inclination orbit. Again, it's northeast. And yeah, it should be up the coast of the United States. We'll see if anybody can spot that.
I don't know why I keep forgetting. Maybe it's just because it's still such a new thing. But the Falcon 9 first stage booster is coming back to pad 40 after liftoff.
Yeah,
'cause of
right
course,
next to the left there. See the
Yep, it's
little
just-
circle there?
Yep. It's like the little like half or tan like quarter circle there on the left hand side of your screen. That is a brand new landing zone that SpaceX has constructed at Pad 40 to support Falcon 9 RTLS recoveries. But also at this point, while we have a moment, just above 2 minutes in the countdown, Sawyer, we are going to go ahead and send you off into the field
Stage
and
2,
enjoy the
lock
launch, and
load
hopefully
is
get
complete.
enjoy some awesome photos from you later on.
Thank you. Yes, as Stage 2 locks load completes and we get the fully fueled Falcon 9, I am ready for the sound, I am ready for the booms, and ready for them to start doing those gas line purge outs in just a bit. I'll talk to you after landing.
Seeing
Dragon
the
is an
final
auto
of the-
idle.
Nice.
There we
So
go.
just seeing the last of the venting from the TE there as prop load has completed on Falcon 9 with all of its super chill propellants on the first and second stages. They're hearing some good call-outs there from Mission Control. Sorry if I am talking over those a bit. Kind of quiet on the feed there. Am I hearing pad audio here? I think I hear venting. Or am I crazy? Did you hear venting, Alex?
I think I've heard a little, yeah.
Okay.
Should be coming up on startup now in about 5 seconds.
Yes. We should hear a call off from that as well. Stand by.
Falcon 9 has entered startup.
There
Dragon
we go.
is in
Falcon 9
countdown.
is now. Falcon 9 and Dragon are on their own. As a reminder, folks, we will remain quiet just after liftoff to let you enjoy the sound of
LD,
9 Merlin
go for
1D engines. And another final good call
There we
from
go.
the LD. Good go for launch. Let's go. Excellent. Just under 40 seconds now away from Falcon 9 launching from Pad 40 onto the International Space Station. It's a
T-minus
glorious
30
day on
seconds.
Florida Space Coast. 30 seconds away now. Man, the feed. I'm not used to seeing the feeds lined up like this. This is so nice. not being 15 seconds off from one another. Very nice to see. Now 20 seconds away. Should be coming up.
T-minus
some
15 seconds.
Should have some visual cues here. You know what? I'm gonna let SpaceX
T-minus
take over
10.
from here.
9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Ignition and liftoff. Go Falcon, go Dragon, and go CRS-34.
M1D chamber pressures are nominal.
Power and telemetry nominal. Falcon 9 supersonic. Max Q.
Good call-outs there from Mission Control. Falcon 9 climbing away into the glorious Florida evening sky. That is so pretty. It looks way different seeing it fly with a Dragon on top compared to the payload fairings. That's so cool.
M-Mac
It's
chill.
the best time of day for a launch as well, because the sun is behind the camera here from its perspective, and it's lighting up against a darker sky.
This is the
It's just a
stubby
lot
Falcon.
prettier.
Because you said the dragon on
kind
top
of
instead of the
is.
fairing. It is. It is shorter.
It's the stubby and skinny Falcon, because it isn't as wide either.
Yeah.
Falcon 9 continuing to climb away. It looks like all 9 Merlin 1D engines on the first stage are up to, or have been holding nominal chamber pressure and nominal thrust. Looking good so far. Should be coming up on MECO, or main engine cutoff, on the first stage here before stage separation, and the first stage boost back burn here in just a few seconds. Stand by for that.
I want to see that flip.
Main engine cutoff.
Yep.
It's
Here we
always
go.
so
Call
cool.
for MECO.
Stage separation confirmed.
Great views of stage
Impact
separation.
startup.
That's the first stage.
And there goes the flip.
Yes. Look at that. Yes.
Oh,
Yes. And boost back burn startup. Nice. This is a view from one of D's cameras, it looks like, and you can still see it even though it is super high up and kind of far away now. That is glorious. Maybe this is a bit of foreshadowing of what we could see here in a few days with Booster 19 and Starship. Who knows?
except that one is not landing. That one is going to the
True.
drain, but for a
But
good
it will
reason.
Yes, but it will still be oh my goodness gracious. It will still be performing a boost back burn.
Yes. For a second, I thought you were just stuck on the beep, beep, beep.
No, I don't know.
From
I
the
don't know.
RMS
Just some
screen.
words I just get so stuck on sometimes, and I can never get over it.
Oh, it's okay.
Stage 1.
See,
dude,
now
those
the benefit
means-
of having
Go ahead.
Dragon is that we don't have any fairings to see here separate, I guess.
Yes,
It just
exactly.
continues. Ah, there we go. Shut down the boost back burn.
And here come the grid fins. Oh, never mind. Well, the grid the grid
Hang
fins
on.
are about to start deploying there. There we go.
There we go.
Both stages are on nominal trajectories.
And it's one of the more unique parts of Falcon are those 4 titanium grid fins because those remain folded obviously during launch to aid in its aerodynamic properties during launch, but then deploy once it flips back around and is about to re-enter Earth's atmosphere to help with control once it re-enters and has some air to react against and not just solely rely on either the Merlin, which may or may not be lit at that point yet, and also the RCS thrusters. Making minor corrections there with the RCS there as you see minor puffs from the booster as it comes back.
Yep.
It
Because
looks
obviously,
like it hit-
as it is.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you.
I was going to say that since it is outside of the atmosphere, those Griffins deploy, but right now they're not doing anything, right? They just deploy them now,
Correct.
so that
Yep.
once it's actually through the thickest parts of the atmosphere, well, they are already out. They don't need to do any of that, right? But
Exactly.
obviously, they need the coal gas thrusters while it is outside of the atmosphere.
Because obviously, if there's no air for those grid fins to react against, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And obviously, the first stage has well passed its apogee at this point, or its highest point in flight, and is now back to Earth's surface, and more specifically toward Pad 40 and LZ40, which is right next door to the launch site, which is going to be really cool. D still has it on camera. Look at this. You can still see it in the RCS puffs. Look at this. I cannot wait to see D's tracked down to the launch site, please. D, you got this.
I really
so
wonder this entry burn whether it's going to use just one engine or 3 engines. Sometimes they do like a 1-3-1
Yeah.
entry burn. Sometimes it's just one because they try to
Yep.
save, like it's slow enough that they don't need as much thrust during the entry burn,
Yep.
and that saves
So-
them some propellant.
The 3-engine landing burn always gets me because they fire a lot later and it stops
Yeah.
a lot faster. Well, I guess we should find out in a few seconds, but we are also coming up on
Oh,
the entry
there we
burn.
go.
Boom, on cue. There we go. Falcon 9 lighting 3 of its Merlin engines to fight against Earth's atmosphere and slow itself down to make sure that it does not tear itself
Stage
apart
1,
once it
entry
gets
burn,
into
shut
the
down.
thicker parts of the atmosphere and engine shutdown there. D
Looks
still
like it
has
was just a single
I
engine.
think it was a single
on that
engine.
entry.
I think it was. Yeah.
Never. Yeah, it was only just a circle. It never went to carpet-like sort of thing.
Oh, dude, D still has it. Oh, D
Wow,
still
look
has
at
it.
that
Let's
angle.
go. Let's go. Look at the angle of attack there. Yes. Watch out for maybe a shockwave in the clouds. We've seen that before.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh, the clouds. There we go.
Yes.
Vapor. You saw
Stage
that?
one,
The vapor
yes,
cone?
stage.
Yep. Coming up on landing burn here any second. No, pesky cloud.
No. Cloud.
No.
You silly
No.
cloud.
Dang it.
Even the
Pesky
SpaceX
cloud.
tracking cameras. They were
Oh,
struggling.
man.
Oh, there we go.
Yes. You got it. Let's
Single
go.
engine? 3 engines.
3
There we
engines.
go.
Nice.
Stage 1 landing leg deploy.
Landing leg deploy over the trees. And sonic booms.
There we go. Sonic
Stand by
moves.
for D's camera, I think. D's mic.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
Maybe? Maybe not?
I can hear a rumble.
Yeah. That might be SpaceX's feed. Oh, no, maybe it was these. I don't know. Either way, folks, Falcon 9 booster B1096 now safely back on the ground after launching Dragon on its 34th resupply mission to the ISS. Stage 2 still firing for a bit longer, but we are not far away from a second engine cutoff and Dragon separation. Should be coming on that. Should be coming up on that momentarily as Falcon 9 in its second stage and Dragon are currently flying into the sunset. Look at that. That is glorious. That is so pretty.
Stage 2 FTS safe.
Good call out there.
Stage
FTS
2,
that been
no
saved
items.
on. Here we go.
Zero
Fantastic
guidance.
call outs here.
Should be getting close to Seco now.
Any second.
MVAC shutdown.
Hey,
There we go.
Good call out. There we go. MVAC shutdown. Falcon 9 second stage and Dragon now hopefully on a nominal trajectory.
Stage 2 nominal orbit insertion.
Very good call out there. Excellent. Should be coming up on Dragon separation here pretty soon.
Was that the
what?
ISS position tool from Jay?
I think it.
Yeah, there you go.
It should
Over
be.
New
It should
Zealand.
be passing over. Is that? It is the ISS.
Yeah, it just
is.
got a lot of catching up. It's on the other side of the globe, but it's yeah. Should be separating
is
Dragon
awesome.
soon though.
Yes, and so the sun should be setting in Florida in about 2 hours or so. I think. Oh, there we go. Dragon separation.
Ooh, that's a cool from
Look
the
at that!
trunk, right?
Yeah.
That's the trunk view. So the thing at the top was the second stage top.
I think it was. I don't think we've seen that view before.
Yeah, I think that's new. I don't recall.
Because normally they
separation
show the
confirmed.
view from. There we go. Good call out there. Confirming Dragon separation. I always forget how soon after Seco Dragon separation is. But alas.
Yeah, they
normally-
changed that a few years ago, right? Where it
Yeah.
used to be like 5 minutes or so that we had to wait.
Yep. And also, is that Falcon blocking pad 40? Hugo, get out of the way, man. Get out of the way. Jeez.
Actually, he framed
Of
pretty
course.
nicely here. He framed pretty nicely here for one of my shots.
Oh, really? Oh, did he?
Yes, yeah, he decided to perch himself right on one of the wooden buoys that they have here in the turn basin.
And where's your photo, Sawyer? Is it coming? Please tell me it's coming.
It's coming.
Yeah. All right.
Along with landing photos, but let me get you a launch photo here shortly. I'm still here to chaff because, man, 40 is so much louder than when it was over at LZ2 and LZ1. And
You can say
being
that
right
again.
here, it is much louder here. No, kidding. But
Was that?
I got to say that the VAB squeal as well for launches and landings from 40 is much more pronounced. I know it's not always easy to hear on the stream, but I can promise you in person, it is very distinct. And a lot of times, if you listen very closely on the audio replays, you'll be able to hear it. But it's very distinctive.
Go ahead, Alex.
They showed an internal camera view as well of the crew of the cargo dragon with a cargo
that-
on board.
Was
Yeah,
that internal or was that looking up into the skirt?
no, it was internal. Like you could see
That
the
was
side
internal.
hatch. Yeah, this is
Yeah,
the
okay.
one on the trunk, but there was another view where you can see inside. By the way, that's the second stage, right? That's so cool.
No. Oh, it is. Wow, it is.
That's the second stage drifting
'Cause-
away. See
'cause
this
normally-
one. That's inside.
Yeah.
You can see on the left
Wow.
the hatch.
Oh, wow.
Oh my goodness.
That is cool. But see, they're already up to like northeast Canada. They're about to cross the Atlantic.
Yeah.
It just
Yep.
takes that very little time to get to the UK. That's why I was saying before, like maybe 20, 30 minutes. 30 minutes might actually be too much. It's like 20.
Insert the need for point to point and Chris Bergen entering chat now.
Cape Canaveral to York.
Cape Canaveral to York in 35 minutes flat. But it's really unique because normally SpaceX gives us the view from the second stage looking up at Dragon as they separate, and we see Dragon kind of flying away. I think this is the first time that we've seen the view from Dragon looking back at the upper stage bulkhead as it floats
Yeah.
away. That's really cool. We should also be working on replays right now, folks. So hang around for a few more minutes, and we should have those to you as well. Because we have replays from not just launch today, mind you. Again, because the booster came back to LZ40, we also had views of the booster itself coming back to Pad 40. So we have replays coming up here in just a few minutes. Gonna hit some support here while I can, and while those replays are still coming, give me a moment, please. Pulling it up. From James, a store message. Keep smashing the coverage. Thank you, James. We will certainly keep trying. And from from Benjamin Brown 3939 $5 super. I actually just noticed that in the description of this live stream, this is SpaceX's 666th launch overall, meaning that it's their devil's launch. I sure hope not, Benjamin. I really hope not. But it looks like things are going well so far, and the devil has no say here. But thank you very much for the $5 super, and thank you. It's good seeing you around, dude.
Yeah, speak of the devil, it went pretty well.
It did.
That's
Is there
right.
one
I
there?
had to add another.
Waiting
Yeah,
for?
speak of the devil, I said. Anyway.
That went right over my head. I don't get it.
Yeah, it did. Chat. Yep.
666.
Well, yeah, I said that earlier. Duh.
Yeah, but that's the joke.
Yeah. Okay.
Devil's number, so that's why I said speak of the devil.
Yeah.
Speak of the devil. Where's your photo, Sawyer? Is it coming yet? Is it here yet?
It's posting in back channel. Hang on.
Ooh. I'm just seeing it in the back channel now. Okay. Yeah, chat is going to like this. That looks mega. That is really pretty. And this is a classic example. You know what? I'll save it for when it's on screen. Stand by. Going to hit also another store message here from Michael, just waving. Everyone wave back at Michael. And then also a store message from, oh, goodness gracious. I'm so sorry if I butcher your name, but Rari? Forgive me. Big up Georgia, who's setting up a payload at ISS with BioOrbit. 100%. Absolutely. Okay, I don't know how far we are away from the replays coming. It should be up relatively soon. But we do have that photo up on stream, obviously, right now from Sawyer's perspective of launch today. Yeah, Sawyer, you said it best. Hugo is standing there loud and proud. Right,
and he stayed there for almost the whole frames that I was shooting on the way up. It took him a while to finally go, you know what? These noises are too much. I'm out of here. So, but yeah, people forget that Kennedy Space Center and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, all of this is built on a national wildlife preserve here, the Merritt Island one. So, yeah, it's nature and science mixing together.
100%. So you said he flew away there, right? He wasn't there for landing?
No, I tried, but he wasn't there for landing.
Oh, Hugo.
Yeah, he decided to Hugo away at that point. I have a photo with the empty post next to the landing, but it's not as good with the one with the bird.
No, he went to Hugo to Fleet Cam and blocked the view to Pad 40. That's where Hugo'd, or Hugh went. I don't know. That was terrible.
No, he went to Hugo to shop.NASASpaceflight. Oh no, wait, no, sorry, this isn't a merch plug.
No! Don't you dare!
I'm kidding.
You're not the one hosting today, Sawyer. You're not doing the shop plugs.
Touche.
We getting some feeds here from Dragon?
Yeah, they were opening the nose cone.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, that was what we were seeing. It is like the camera on the docking hatch looking out to the nose cone, and so it was opening.
So Alex, given the launch time today and where the space station is, how long before Dragon can rendezvous with the ISS?
It's going to take a little bit, about a day and a half. It should be docking to the station on Sunday at 7 a.m. Eastern. So about, if I'm not mistaken, that will be 1100 UTC. So yeah, about a day and a half, basically.
And a photo here from our very own Julia Bergeron, who if I'm not mistaken, this looks like the view from Cars Park.
I think it's Jerry. Is that not?
Is that... No. Is
Jerry?
Yeah, that's Jerry.
Ship?
No way. Oh my God, it was Jerry. I thought it was Julia. Oops. Both their names start with J. Wow. I wonder where Jerry was exactly when this happened. That looks unique. That's a very unique perspective. I haven't seen that angle before. And there's also the Pad A Starship tower in the background there. That's awesome. Obviously very hazy, though, because it must have been pretty far away. But in the meantime, Dragon's nose cone is opening, and views here from SpaceX Mission Control in Hawthorne, and then NASA Mission Control in Houston, Texas, at the Johnson Space Center. Still waiting on those replays here, folks, but I'm going to hit some more questions here from chat. Ooh, I'm actually trying to pick out some new ones here. Standby caller. Okay, not necessarily the most related to Falcon on... Ooh, is this a view from the nose cone?
That kind of looks like it.
Oh, look at the ice particles.
Yeah. And the sun setting there just on the left-hand side of your screen. As it crosses over the Terminator line. Look at that. Wow. We say it a lot. Like, we say wow a lot. We say, oh my gosh, look at that a lot.
It might also be from firing the thrusters, because once they, it seems like they're firing the thrusters. Because once they go into orbit and gets deployed from the second stage, they need to make sure that those Draco thrusters work, right? And so they do these sort of firings where it's sort of like a pre-planned pattern of firings, and then they check out if all of them are working properly.
I guess so. I mean, obviously, they only have the Dracos on Cargo Dragon. They do not have the Super Dracos that you would normally get on Crew Dragon, because obviously it's not flying crew, and the Super Dracos are only needed or only used in a worst-case scenario where Dragon needs to get away from Falcon 9 as quickly as possible during launch.
There we go. So, good Draco checkouts.
Oh, good. Excellent.
There we go.
Wonderful, wonderful. So... question here from Necromoniker. Actually, a pretty relevant question considering we saw Stage 2 a bit ago. It is not a dumb question, Necro. It is not a bad question. But what happens to the second stage if it burns up? Wouldn't it be cool to watch it re-enter? Sawyer or Alex? Who wants to take that?
Sounds like an Alex question.
Okay, I'll take it. I was sort of waiting for Sawyer since he's in the field. But yeah, it re-enters and burns up. It will be cool to watch it. The problem is it burns up, and so there's no other way to really, other than having a camera on the ground. But on the ground, this burns up like out there in the ocean, right? And so you will need a set of equipment for that sort of thing. Probably not the sort of thing that I can see SpaceX spending money on. That's more like a Starship thing. But Starship is actually meant to survive re-entry, right? That really makes sense to have a trip, a team going out and taking a trip to the re-entry zone, and that's what we're going to see on Flight 12, hopefully.
Yes. We sure hope so, and we also hope to see Booster 19 come back in one piece into the Gulf off the coast of Starbase. Another photo here from Jerry with the sailboat in the foreground. How lovely.
And the landing. Look at the angle it comes in from this point of view.
Like it's kind of tough to see from the angle of the prize site. Maybe not so much when it's launching northeast, but Falcon 9 can have a really steep angle of attack coming back to 40, or just any LZ for that matter. It has to make up a lot of the ground that it's obviously covered since stage separation. But obviously, until it lights, it's either Merlin or Merlins, obviously, as we saw in this case with the 131 landing burn configuration. It is aiming off of the LZ, if not into the ocean, so that in the event that the Merlins don't light, they can steer it right into the water and not hurt any of the launch or landing infrastructure that is currently on site. Also seeing a photo from Sawyer in the back channel here from landing, hoping to get that up on screen as soon as possible.
Kevin and Michael Reed loves when we backseat produce. I know it. Hi, Kevin.
Yes. Yeah, he loves it. He loves it so much. And I'm somewhat expecting to hear him come on stream here and tell me off. But love you, Kevin. So really quick while we can, because we know it's kind of like the elephant in the room here with what's happening in Starbase. Yordi Miranda asking, has Ship 39 done its test? Alex?
Not yet, but it's currently under propellant load, we think. And so that test might happen relatively shortly, like probably in the next 30 minutes or so, based at least on the previous testing timelines.
And for those unfamiliar, Ship 39 is currently out at Massey's. We presume to do some final engine testing before it goes back to the pad for, again, what we presume, based on recent road and beach closures posted for the 17th and 18th here in Starbase, for what looks like either a wet dress and or confidence test for tanking with a Starship full-stack vehicle. The first version 3 before the Flight 12 launch attempts, hopefully next week, currently situated for net May 19th, which is this coming Tuesday. So fingers crossed, all goes well there, and we will keep our teams looking at Massey's for any testing there of sorts. But obviously, the photo that I was just talking about in the back channel with Sawyer's landing, there as you can see, Falcon 9's first stage with the landing legs deploying just over the tree line there, off to the left of Pad 40, right over LZ 40. So that looked really, really neat from your perspective.
That's one of the photos that I've been dying to get since we did LZ40. The first daylight one, we didn't really get to see it. The other ones were at night. But this is the best way to clearly show just how close LZ40 is to Slick 40. Because we talk about, it's nearby, it's a couple hundred meters away, but I feel like a photo does best of, look, this is how close they actually are to each other. You can fit all of them in the same frame, and that's a relatively zoomed-in frame. I think that's at about 600 millimeters, and they still fit in the same frame. So
Yeah, no. Pad 40 and LZ 40 are quite literally across the road from each other, in that there is one service road that goes around the lawn where we normally set cameras up whenever we're allowed to for Pad 40 launches, and that is currently, like, it's literally a stone's throw away from LZ 40. Like, we cannot emphasize enough just how close in proximity the two facilities are to each other. So it's really neat to see, but also really important for SpaceX as this LZ is a lot closer to KSC and Hangar X more specifically, where they do all Falcon 9 first stage refurb, or I wonder if they still call it Jiffy Lube. I'm not sure. I've heard it called that before. We'll have to wait and see. But it helps out a lot. But the Falcon 9 launch cadence is going to be taking a hit going forward with them reducing the count of drone ships on the East Coast from both just read the instructions and a shortfall of gravitas to now a shortfall of gravitas only, with just read the instructions being reassigned to Starship transport duties here in Starbase to the Cape in Florida for the initial Starship operations. So I think, Alex or Sawyer, correct me if I'm wrong, 'cause I'm obviously not there. Is Marmac 31, aka you'll thank me later, still in port?
yes, it is. In fact, it actually, last we saw it, they were putting on one of the side covers on it. So they put the roof on it, essentially, and they were putting on one of those side covers for when Starship is on board and makes its way from Starbase in the port of Brownsville to Cape Canaveral and Port Canaveral.
And yeah, they have been using Bob, I think it's Bob in this case, one of the ferry recovery vessels, sort of like docked next to it to be able to help out and like have, what's it called, lifts and things like that loaded onto it. There we go. Yeah, it's Bob.
Yep.
and then you can see like 2 lifts there on each side on the back of the ship next to Marmac 31. They were putting together that back sort of cover there. But yeah, it looks almost ready to go. We know that there's filings out there, to send it to Brownsville to load a few transport stands and whatnot. So we'll see. We'll see what they do with that.
I don't know what I was thinking when they first announced Marmac 31 being that to be like one of the first vessels to transport Starships from Starbase to Florida. I thought for whatever reason, like I guess my naive and just hopeful mind was hoping that we were not going to see a cover on the barge and that we would just see a ship and or a booster just sitting on the deck. But obviously when you have a barge, a water vessel that has to traverse the entire Gulf and the peninsula of Florida up the east coast of Florida and into Port Canaveral, you want to make sure that all of your equipment on board is protected and covered from the very salty air out there with the salt water, because that can be very corrosive. And even though we have seen obviously Starship vehicles on the pad for a long time in Starbase, It is very corrosive to everything around it. The
Yeah.
air is, and you want to make sure it is protected at all costs, especially in rough seas, which we are not shy
Hey.
of in the Gulf. Hey, replays. Here we go.
Replay. Is that after launch already?
I think so.
Oh,
Oh dear. Apologies, everybody.
R's and tones.
yeah.
Yeah.
It just cut
but
the feed for that.
yeah, I guess they did. Right on cue. So apologies about your drums, everybody. But we should have. It looks like we have a replay here on the left hand side of your screen. Looks like just after launch though. Maybe roll it. We should roll it back. Oh, okay. Cutting to a different angle here. I think this is fleet cam number 1 or 2. I think this is number 1. The original
Wide is 1.
Fleet cam. Wide is 1. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you for that, Sawyer. And we should see a ball of light coming up. There, is that it? Yeah, there it is. In the bottom
just
middle
read the
of your
instructions.
screen there. Oh,
It's off there to the
Sad.
left.
sad.
They still had the octograbber out there on the deck.
They do. Yeah, there is a lot of work left to do on it before it's actually fully converted, obviously, for Starship operations. We're not entirely sure what those mods will consist of. Maybe they will widen it a little bit or lengthen the deck, maybe remove some stuff. I'm not sure. But yay,
I'm gonna
one
guess.
of the pad cameras here.
Yeah, I'm gonna guess it's
Rainbird's
it's
going.
gonna look like the other one. There we go.
Probably. That is such a pretty day. Look at that.
The bug.
Yeah. That wasp was like, nope, I'm out of here. I don't like this one bit.
We were wondering what was going to happen to the wasps. There you go.
Yep.
They
Right
get
on cue.
angrier.
They do. They
That's
do.
what happens. I have fought a few of those when I went to Florida.
I
Oh,
remember
ours
that. I
are.
remember that now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you
yes.
do. You do.
Oh god, yeah. I know you didn't have a good time with that, but another replay here from another angle that also had wasps in it. That is like a perfect, a picture perfect day for a launch from Pad 40. Like a lot of blue sky, just enough clouds in the background to make it picturesque and like a painting. It's beautiful.
My
And now
pictures
from
can
one of
attest. It was picture perfect.
It was very, 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 very pretty. Oh my god, very pretty out there today. Goodness gracious me. Should be seeing Falcon 9 coming up over the tree line here in a moment from one of our HUD cameras based at the Kennedy Space Center, and there it is, right on cue. Punching right into the wild blue yonder. It's way different seeing it during the daytime as opposed to nighttime. In that we can actually see the body of the rocket for once.
Yes, that is very true. Instead of just following the dot, which sometimes it's easier, but sometimes it's harder when you're trying to track it because it's dimmer, especially if it goes behind a cloud or something. In a night launch, it lights up the whole cloud. It doesn't really do that as much during the day. But one thing I noticed that was really cool was after it punched through 2 clouds here on the way up, each of the clouds had a little part that shot up from it of where the rocket went through it. So it like broke the cloud a bit, and you could see almost like the skin kind of folded up of the cloud of like, hey, you hurt me right here.
Yep. And this is the view from I believe D's track right here. Look at that. Dude, literally picture perfect. That's so pretty. We may have audio with this one as well, so I'll try and keep quiet. That was a pretty one. Late afternoon launches reign supreme over just about everything else, especially from KSC when you're looking east. The sun being behind you, a nice picturesque sky in the background. Not much beats it.
It really doesn't. You get the lighting, and also the wind was blowing south, or what would that be? Southwesterly. So, which is even better because it went to the northeast. So that means on the way back, the sound from everything kind of blew right at us. So you really got the sonic booms and the landing and everything.
And also a wonderful view of the exhaust flow expansion from the 9 Merlin 1Ds as Falcon 9 climbs into the upper parts of Earth's atmosphere where the ambient pressure is a lot lower, allowing the exhaust gases to expand. Yeah, D had a great track for the whole thing. That was wonderful. D, if you're listening, that was a killer track. Dude, seriously. Mega, mega, mega. Am I being played out here? Is that what's happening?
Oscar Ultra.
Well, folks, on that front, it sounds like we are beginning to be played out here. So I want to start by thanking everyone who was on with us today. Actually, you know what? Before I do that, there's one more bit of support here in chat that I want to hit before we wrap. And it is a store message from James. Thank you for your support, James. Yes. Thank you, James. Oh, it was a patch. Hell yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, heck yeah. Oops. Sorry. Force a habit. But the patch is excellent. Y'all feel free to check it out in our store because once they're gone, they're gone. Grab them while you can. I know there are a bunch that have already moved, and I'm not sure how many are left. But they are certainly going fast. But folks, we are going to wrap up our coverage of the CRS-34 mission here from the Cape Canaveral Space Force Station. First and foremost, I want to thank Alex for being on commentary with us today. Thank you very much, Alex.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure as usual. And, don't forget to check out Sorry's Live because we might see some kind of test on Ship 39. And, of course, stay tuned for any other live streams because Flight 12 is coming. So, yeah.
And also on commentary with us from the field was Sawyer. Thank you very much, Sawyer.
Always a pleasure. Missed having you here, Max, but happy to kind of fill in for your commentary here in the field, and looking forward to everything still happening over at Starbase. You take care of that. We'll hold down the Space Coast.
It does feel weird not being there for a bigger mission like CRS, but duty calls. And also in the field, providing camera views for us today was DY. So D, if you're listening, thank you very much for that track. That was absolutely mega. Thank you very much. Pack up, go, blah, goodness gracious. Go get some water and enjoy the rest of your evening if you can. And also pushing the buttons and pulling the levers, making the live stream do live stream things is the one and only Kevin Michael Reed, God himself. My name is Max Evans, and I have been your host for today's live stream. We have a lot coming up in the coming days in terms of Starship coverage and amongst other things. So feel free to stay tuned to all of our live coverage here on YouTube, and we will see you all again very soon.
And here we go.
There's the W. Here's ignition.
Doubling up.
Did you just do a Kerbal?
Back to the moon and beyond.
Put that in the big bag, Jingle.
Back at home, we all have a lot of work to do, but from here, that sure looks like a perfect flow.
Propulsion continues to be nominal.
We did have an observation. 343 unfolds to go.
It's orange.
Water towers can fly!
Bingo! Right in the center.
Where's Jacqueline? There it is!
That was surreal.
That's not what we want to see.
Oh my God.
Yikes. You bet. We don't need any more of these.